Shabbat Shalom, beloved. Almost. Well, depending on where you're at. It's not Shabbat yet, maybe, but it's not Shabbat here yet, but by the time you see this, it might be Shabbat. So, Shabbat Shalom. Anybody home? That was on one of the old CDs my family and I put together. I don't have a link to that on my channel, but if you go to shemamusic.com, I think my dad still has that CD on the website. Also, him and his wife too have a CD out too. I forgot to mention that actually. I think it's called Redeemed. I haven't heard it yet myself, which I feel bad about because they gave it to me, but it's all wrapped up in a pretty package and it's hard for me to get it out. Which, speaking of CDs, so that's their CD on shemamusic.com. The Redeemed, I think is what it's called, or the Redeemer, either Redeemer. But then my new CD, finally, the physical album of Thank You for the Rain is said to arrive Tuesday. I mean, it's supposed to arrive on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. So, thank you to those of you who have already ordered and sent money. I'm going to get your CDs out to you, like, the following day, because like always, when you get a package, at least for me anyways, it always comes at the very end of the day, so I don't think there'll be enough time to actually, once I get the package, to send your CD out the same day. So the following day, hopefully, that's the plan, get your CDs to you. Yeah, a signed one. I still have my other CD from earlier last year. If you're new and you want that one too, I can do a package deal, so feel free to email me about that. Even with I've got these little wood coasters I make, and I've got my book. I can sign a book, but I'll put all that information in the description below for you so that it won't be confusing. Hopefully it'll sound better and you can actually take the time to read it. Yeah, I want to show you guys something pretty neat, really neat actually. But before I show it to you, I also want to read something to you. Of course, you know me, I have to read something to you from the Bible, but it is relevant to what we're experiencing today in this day and age. So of course, everything in the Bible really is, we're still people today, we're still human today. But this is from Jeremiah, Yirmiyahu, chapter 26, 26. Had to think there for a moment because there's actually masculine and feminine in the numbers, and depending on what you're talking about, you have masculine or feminine numbering. But yeah, 26, capítulo 26. Yeah, sounds very similar. And it says, in the beginning of the reign of Jehoiakim, which in Hebrew, that name is pronounced, it's pronounced Jehoiakim, so it's not like the English at all. The son of Josiah, king of Judah, this word came from Adonai, saying, Thus says Adonai, stand in the court of Adonai's house, and speak to all the cities of Yehudah, which come to worship in Adonai's house. All the words that I command you to speak to them, do not diminish a word. Perhaps everyone will listen and turn from his evil way, that I may relent concerning the calamity which I purpose to bring on them because of the evil of their doings. And you shall say to them, Thus says Adonai, if you will not listen to me, to walk in my law which I have set before you, to heed the words of my servants, the prophets whom I sent to you, both rising up early and sending them, which you have not heeded, then I will make this house like Shiloh, and will make this city a curse to all the nations of the earth. So there's that, right? Just the rule of keeping his Torah, which if you love God, it's not hard. You know, you love him, so you want to do that. So here's the thing where this gets interesting. So the priests and the prophets and all the people heard Yirmiyahu. They heard Jeremiah. Our washer. It's laundry time. Yes, they heard Jeremiah. Oh, they heard Jeremiah speaking these words in the house of Adonai. Now it happened when Jeremiah had made an end of speaking all that Adonai had commanded him to speak, to all the people that the priests and the prophets and all the people seized him, saying, "You will surely die." Yeah, you. "Why have you prophesied in the name of Adonai, saying, This house shall be like Shiloh, and this city shall be desolate, without an inhabitant?" And all the people were gathered against Jeremiah in the house of Adonai. So there's a few things here. Jeremiah says what he's supposed to say, God's words, and because of that, because it wasn't the sweet words that the people wanted to hear, the positive words, because it was negative, they wanted to kill him. Wipe him off his existence. Just wipe him off. Make him disappear. Because we don't want to hear those things. This is happening more and more, beloved, whether it be through social media, or even in person, things getting physically violent. Because we're talking about a spiritual thing, and if you are not believing in the spiritual realm, the spiritual world, you're not sensitive to it, you wouldn't understand. But in the spiritual realm, see, these people, it wasn't Jeremiah. I mean, Jeremiah's just a man. But it was God's words which were true, which were piercing to the hearts of these people. And, there's two ways you can go when God pierces your heart. You can be hard and bitter like they were, or you can say, you know what? God's giving me a chance. I have been wrong. The other way is saying, we're not wrong, but in this case, God's giving me a chance. I have been wrong. I'm going to do something different about it. I'm going to listen. They didn't want to listen. So, this is happening, and the thing is that Jeremiah had to go through this. God's promises for Jeremiah never stopped, and the promises that God has for his people never stop. I say that a lot, and I can't stress it enough, because over and over and over again in life, we are tested through the fire. This very same lesson in which we will stand for what is true, and be persecuted for it. And Jeremiah wasn't being a jerk about it. He wasn't being, I hate to say it, but I do know that in the body there are those that really, if you want to call it spiritually like a jerk, because they don't have love in their heart. They just speak these words and they don't have love in their heart. Jeremiah was called by God. There was love in his heart. And, God he can't call somebody who doesn't have the capacity to hold the love of God in their heart. So, Jeremiah was one of a right heart. Probably not perfect, because none of us are. But he was one of a right heart that God chose. And so, yeah. It's just that we don't want to listen. We don't want to listen to the truth. And I know I can attest to this in my life. When my mom, sometimes she gave me such words of wisdom. And deep down, I knew she was right. But I didn't want to listen. I didn't want to listen. I just didn't want it to be so. Because I wanted it my way. And sometimes I still went my way. Thanks be to God that he steered me out of it. But when we go our own way, it brings pain and calamity, just like God is saying. He doesn't want this calamity for the people. They don't want it either, but they don't realize that if they don't listen, that's what's coming. So anyways, I wanted to share that. Of course, there's more to the story, right? You can go through it, because they go on to say, this man deserves to die. For what? For speaking the truth. This is happening, beloved, around the world, and more in these days. Don't be alarmed. Don't be scared, okay? Well, what can man do to our bodies anyways? I mean, our soul remains with the King of the universe, so it's really nothing. Even our own lives. I mean, of course, it's important to make a difference in our lives, but even our own lives, it's like a particle of dust in the wind. And so the soul is what matters. So that's what I wanted to share. I usually kiss my Bible. It's a beautiful Bible. Now, since you stayed this long, I am going to show you my little special. I wanted to share with you guys a special gift I have for that I'm going to be giving. And I think that a lot of times we're supposed to do things in secret so that God will reward us openly. And I definitely strive for that when I can. But I also think sometimes we are supposed to share, as it says in the Word, so that people can see our light. So in this situation, I really want to share this with you guys. But I left it on my chair over there, so stay right there. I want to show this to you. This is a Tzedakah box. You can see, I don't know if this would have been seen in an earlier video or not. I don't think so, but if it was, it probably would have been maybe not even the whole thing. But this Tzedakah box, and Tzedakah meaning like, well, tzaddik is a righteous one, and so Tzedakah kind of comes from that. It's considered an act of righteousness to give, and to give our love offerings, our tithes to Hashem. And this Tzedakah box, I was asked to wood burn for my family's congregation that we used to have. If you've been around my channel long enough, you might remember some of my earlier videos where I talk about my dad being the rabbi and I was the cantor, me being a rabbi's daughter. Yeah, so such a very, it was pretty special, really. But anyway, so I was asked to do the wood burning on this for the congregation, which I was so honored to get to do that, so that when people come to share, they could put their offering in it. And in a synagogue, both Messianic and a traditional synagogue, it's not something like in a church where you pass it around in a plate. It's usually at the very back of the sanctuary, and nobody talks about it, because it's something you're supposed to give willingly of your heart. So it just sits back there, and it's one reason why I'm not really supportive of leaders when they give a whole entire message about giving. I mean, we are, people coming into the faith for the first time, they don't know about it. I get that, but it's also something that's supposed to be of the heart if you want to give. I mean, when God comes into your life, you naturally want to give. So I'm not exactly supportive when people talk about, you gotta give your 10%. Like, yes, it's good to know. Again, for new believers, it's good. But yeah, it's not something that is just expressed over and over again, because it's just something understood, something you would want to do. So it sits at the back of the congregation, back of the sanctuary, and people put in whatever is in their heart to give. 10%, of course, is generally what is understood by many from the word study and all that, but 10% of your earnings. So this was the Tzedakah box, and I've had it. When my mom was diagnosed with cancer and she got more sick, my dad stepped down, my whole family did, from leading the congregation to focus on taking care of my mom. And I started to do like Shabbat at home, a little bit of that, which I really enjoyed that actually. But, over time, that congregation, I don't really know what happened. Actually, I don't really know what happened, but, we left because we were trying to take care of my mom, but it was all in love and peace that we left, Everybody understood why, but this Tzedakah box ended up coming back to me. And so I've just had it. With me But last year, God was so good to lead me to a very special study group called Zion's Roar Ministries, which you guys got to see me sing, do a worship session at their congregation. It was live streamed. Some of you got to see it. And they blessed me so much. Like, people purchased some of my paintings, my CDs, my book, just blessed me, gave to me. And I tell you what, beloved, if it wasn't for that during that time, I mean, I was with the COVID stuff and all that. I didn't have music opportunities like I did the year before, so it really hit me hard. And without those blessings, I mean, if I hadn't had that, it would have been really rough. But they blessed me, and it was a wonderful time. And I've been continued to be part of their studies. And it's in my heart to give this to them, and they don't know this yet, okay? So I'm telling you guys that. Because Zion's Roar Ministries has a little teeny tiny tzedakah box, from what I could see, and it's called Zion's Roar Ministries, and I'm like, okay, there's a lion on here, and it's got all kinds of things about Zion really on here. This is right. You know, they need a new one. They need a new tzedakah box, and I've got one that's just sitting here and not being used. So I want to show this to you guys before I give it away, because I won't have it anymore. Hopefully going to surprise them with it. So it says, Shema Yisrael, Tzedakah v'chesed. So Shema Yisrael, of course, from the Bible, Hero of Israel. Tzedakah v'chesed, righteousness, or, giving. Chesed is often interpreted as kindness, also mercy. So it's quite a fascinating word. We've got branches here. We've got the dove. All kinds of symbolism here. In the middle of the Star of David, and I know some people have a different perspective on the Star of David than I do, but unless God shows me different, I understand it as the two shields of King David, but I know some people see it as something evil, and which is really sad to me in a way. I mean, because I won't even get into that. But I do believe that we all see things partially, and God will reveal what we don't know. I don't know everything. But at least at this point, God has not revealed to me anything bad about it. I just understand it as the two shields of David. Inside it says Ahavat, which is love in Hebrew. And on the top, it's got, I might not be able to show it all to you. Oh, there we go. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'kol levavcha. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol merdecha, and with all your mind and all your strength. I've got the verse reference on there. Place for the money. Another branch on this side. I put a CD in there, so it's kind of. It says Kuma Kavodo, which is arise his glory. And we've got an angel there bowing down. And a harp of praise, a menorah, an or, which means light. Like the light of Y-shua. And before I show you the awesome back, actually I'm going to show you the other side too. On this side we have, so the one side says Kuma Kavodo, arise his glory. And then this one says Kuma Chazdo. Which is arise his or what were we just talking about? Chesed, mercy, kindness. It can be translated more than one way. And it's also got a menorah, and then it says Y-shua, salvation, yeah, and a shofar. So I love that. I really do love this tzedakah box. I don't know, maybe someday I'll make another one. Well, I didn't make the box itself. I could, though, I realize. I mean, I'm not amazing with wood, but I know enough wood I probably could. But I did the wood burning on it. Then on the back, I love this back, we've got the city of our king, the city of Adonai Zion, with the sun shining, the temple, man blowing the shofar, he's wearing a talit. some clouds, a tree of life, a Chaim, another Star of David, and then we got the glory of Hashem coming up above the temple. The city there, city of the Lord on the mountain. And here we have a scripture from Isaiah 56, a portion of it, which says, if I can get it all in there, whoops, it says, V'havotim al-hal-chadshi, v'shmachtem b'beit tefilati, ki beiti beit tefillah yikra lekol ha'amim. And they shall come to the mountain of, or to the holy mountain, to my holy mountain, and worship, praise. That word can be translated, I guess, in more than one way. But in the house, in my house of praise, because for my house is a house of praise, we'll be called to, or no, yeah, we'll be called to all people, all the people. All of a sudden. So yeah, it's so cool. But I wanted to share with you guys this gift. I'm so happy, so excited to give this gift. Wow, I'm really, the sun just came out from the clouds. It's like just as happy as me, but now you can't see me. Oh, it's so bright. Goodness, it's so bright. How can I show this? There we go, it's a little bit better. So yes, I'm very excited to give this to Zion's Roar Ministry. They have been a blessing to me. I hope this blesses them. You can actually support them, even though you don't live in the area. You can support them online, I believe. Of course, I should probably find out that for sure, but I believe you can. But their website is called Zion's Roar Ministries, if you did not know. So yeah, thought I would show that to you guys. I just, I think this is right. It was definitely an honor to make this for the congregation my family had. What a special time. I wasn't like you hear all the time about rabbis' kids or pastors' kids being rebellious. But a lot of times I believe that's because they focus on the ministry to the people first before their family, and so the kids end up really they don't want to have anything to do with religion, so to speak. But, and my parents weren't perfect. Goodness, they were not perfect. But, but I did have some, my parents had a lot of good. My mom was amazing. There's a lot of things I admire and so thankful for. But I always had just such a love for the Word and wanting to know what was right. I mean, when you do what's right, it just feels good, and it's a blessing, and you're just happy. And even if it's hard, even if the right thing to do is hard, it's like the best gift ever. So yes, so I really loved that time in my life. I love making this for the congregation. And thank you guys for listening this long to this. I pray that you are blessed this Shabbat and that you are filled with great joy. I know that there is a lot of things happening in the world that doesn't seem so joyful, but this is the time, yes, beloved, where we look at these things and see that the time is coming in which the King is returning. This is the time. So, yes, chaos in the world, but the King is returning, and it's going to be amazing. It is already amazing if we keep that in our hearts, the kingdom. Amen. So I love you guys. Bless you guys. I don't know if Zion's Roar would let me record them getting this or not. I don't know if I want to do that though anyways, because then it would be suspicious coming in with the camera and be like, hey, recording you guys. Nothing to see here. When really I have a surprise gift. Yeah. Okay. So I gotta feed some of my critters before it gets dark. So Shabbat Shalom, and talk to you guys soon. Thank you again. Thank you guys. Love you all so much. And yeah, thank you. I really thank you guys. Your support, your love, your encouragement. Thank you. Bless you. And again, I will have the CD information down below. So, shalom.